artistic achievements of the Negro are rooted in the rich and ancient cultural heritage of Africa, which in recent times has profoundly influenced all Western art. In this intricate gold leaf work, in the devoted craftsmanship of the sculptor, the essential qualities of great art shine through, spanning time and cultural differences. Art lives beyond its own day. The stylized grace of this serving bowl is a remarkable anticipation of modern design. Impressive work is being done today by members of the race, both by established figures and by rising young artists such as Charles White of New York. His work in pen and ink and in oils has earned both critical and popular esteem. Success for a young painter today is marked when an art gallery accepts his works, and Charles White's are regularly shown in one of Manhattan's best. Coming into prominence as an illustrator is Ernest Crichlow. His Greenwich Village studio was visited by two of the few living descendants of Harriet Tubman on the occasion of the publication of a new biography of the great figure of the Civil War era, a book in which Critchlow's pictorial contributions are outstanding. The book jacket illustration, a painting of Harriet Tubman, was an easy job, for among the most notable of Critchlow's works is an earlier portrait of the same subject. Many of the paintings on his studio wall are among those exhibited at his first one-man show, a highly successful artistic debut. Critchlow's early promise is finding realization in his current work, which establishes him in the first rank of the field. In Old Saybrook, Connecticut, lives the author of the critically acclaimed novel The Narrows, Ann Petry. Her third and latest, it took 5 years. In that time, she brought up a daughter, while writing and rewriting to perfection a book praised for its depth and human perception. The literary world eagerly awaits her next, but her family comes first. Life magazine is the headquarters for photographer Gordon Parks on the staff of the popular pictorial news magazine since 1949, and a man who stands at the top of his profession. Whether he turns his lens to fashion or to graphic essays, Gordon Parks' style is unmistakable. His critical eye enables him to select from the many pictures he may take on a given assignment those few which most dramatically and concisely tell the story. Parks' work is among the finest in a magazine noted for photographic excellence. At home, Parks turns to other artistic interests. Unable to read music, Parks is a successful composer. Daughter Toni takes down the notes he plays. 41 years old, Gordon Parks has successfully realized his many artistic talents without neglecting a full and happy family life. Art fills the life of Jewel Simon's family. This Atlanta housewife and mother is a talented artist as well. Her basement workshop, crowded with sculptures and paintings, testifies to her activity, which hasn't interfered with the upbringing of little Margaret and Edward, her favorite subjects. What began as a hobby turned into a career with the recognition of her talent. One of Atlanta's finest young artists, her name is included in the definitive file of contemporary artists maintained by New York's Metropolitan Museum. But to the many who have seen her work, no credentials are necessary. Jewel Simon's talent speaks for itself. Music built this attractive Los Angeles home for Jessie Mae Robinson, whose tunes have been heard and sung by millions in recent years. She works tirelessly in her flower garden, a favorite spot for composing, And in recent months, she has turned out 8 hits, more than many songwriters can do in a lifetime. Anytime you turn on the radio, it's very likely you'll hear one of Jessie Mae Robinson's tuneful ballads. They're among America's most popular. Here are her hits, bestsellers recorded by such top vocalists as Joe Stafford, Dinah Washington, Rosemary Clooney, and Frankie Lane. A golden harvest for songwriter Jessie Mae Robinson. This New York skyscraper houses one of the music world's key enterprises, Broadcast Music Incorporated, which licenses for performance a good part of the music you hear in theaters or on the air. BMI's consultant on contemporary music, a full-time job in itself, is Ulysses Kay, one of America's finest young composers. His works have been performed by the world's greatest orchestras. The latest prize in his promising career, a commission from the Louisville Symphony. In the decorative arts, the concepts of modern aesthetics are applied to metal jewelry by Art Smith in his Greenwich Village shop. He makes all the novel items on display in the attractive sales room and waits on customers himself. In a little over 6 years, he's built up a steady clientele for his modern designs in jewelry based on his studies of fine art. Here's a sample of his unusual wares, attractive however you look at it. Frank Neal's Tray House represents a return to one of the oldest aspects of decorative art. He deals exclusively in custom-made serving trays, often works of fine art in themselves. Formerly a member of the Katherine Dunham dance troupe, Neal opened his tray house not too long ago and found a ready market for his unusual specialty. This tray is a masterpiece in its own right. Painted in oils and bordered in gold leaf, it's a fine example of the heights which craftsmanship can attain. Hartford's Christopher Bean is another young artist applying his talents to practical crafts. His hand-modeled pottery offers colorful objects of real beauty for the home. In his tiny workshop, Chris Bean sets to work on one of the free-form ashtrays which are his favorites. Like most ceramic artists, Bean is an unorthodox craftsman. He scorns professional tools, using an ordinary spoon for shaping. The clay is formed, but the work is just beginning. Little details, like the notches that will hold the cigarettes, are just as important as the basic form in an artistically finished product. And Bean's painstaking workmanship allows no flaws, however small. Every potter blends his own colors and guards his formulas jealously. They're the secret of the glaze that gives pottery its worth. Finally, hours of intense heat in the Swedish electric kiln convert painted clay into lustrous pottery, and it's always a moment of satisfaction when the kiln is open. Arizona's colorful landscapes are a source of rich inspiration for modern painter Eugene Grigsby, art instructor at Phoenix Carver High School. Much of his spare time is spent sketching amid these scenes, the raw material for his characteristic bright and colorful interpretations. For any artist, this landscape would be a creditable achievement. But to modernist Gene Grigsby, it's just the first step. Returning home with his sketchbook, he heads for his studio, where the underlying patterns of nature are transformed into an abstract painting of the sort that has made Gene Grigsby's reputation. Atlanta University's annual exhibit of paintings, sculptures, and prints by Negro artists, the only showing of its sort in the country, offers an indication of the scope of activity by members of the race in the arts. Founded in 1942, it's rapidly become one of the South's outstanding cultural events. Each year, works submitted by both established artists and hopeful novices flood the university library. Yvonne Hunt brings her own self-portrait. She's typical of the many students whose work is a source of vitality to the art of America. The annual Atlanta exhibit has, through the years, become a truly impressive showcase for the artistic achievements of the race. The exhibits serve both as recognition of merit and as an incentive to draw forth new talent. Among the many paintings submitted may lie the work of one of tomorrow's masters, a reminder of the many fine artists whose early work showed here, and a reminder of their outstanding achievements, achievements to the credit of both the artist and the race.